Her best friend said at girls' night. Honestly, I'd cheat if I were you. He's boring. My girlfriend laughed and replied, Who said I'm not? She didn't know her phone was connected to the car Bluetooth while I sat in the driveway waiting to pick her up. When she opened the door, I handed her the keys and said, Uber's more exciting. Anyway, so here's the thing about being the dependable guy, the reliable one. The one who shows up when he says he will, does what he promises, and doesn't create unnecessary drama. Society tells you that's what women want, that being steady and consistent is attractive, that having your life together is a turn-on. Yeah, well, that's a load of garbage. I'm going to tell you about the night I learned that lesson in the most brutal way possible, and honestly, best thing that ever happened to me, but we'll get to that. My name's David. I'm 32 and I work as an accountant for a mid-sized manufacturing company in Ohio. Not the most exciting job I know, but it pays well, has good benefits, and I'm home by 5:30 most days. I own my condo, drive a decent car, hit the gym 4 times a week, and have my finances in order. By all accounts, I had my life figured out. The condo was a 2-bedroom place I'd bought 3 years back. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. No roommates, no landlord, no drama. I'd furnished it carefully over time, piece by piece, making sure everything I bought was quality, the kind of stuff that lasts. I had a solid routine down. Wake up at 6, gym by 6:30, work by 8, home by 5:30, meal prep on Sundays, finances reviewed every Friday night. I know how that sounds, but there's something satisfying about having your life organized, about knowing where you stand. I'd been dating Amber for 3 years. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue. She was 29, worked in retail management at one of those upscale department stores, and had this infectious energy that drew people in. The kind of person who could walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention. She was always laughing, always had some story about her coworkers, always knew about the newest restaurant or event happening in town. I liked that about her initially. I'm more introverted, more measured. We seemed to balance each other out. She'd drag me to social events I would have skipped, and I'd provide the stability and calm she claimed she needed after dealing with chaos at work all day. The first year was good. We'd cook dinner together, watch movies, take weekend trips, normal couple stuff. She seemed happy. I was happy. Year 2 is when I started noticing changes. She'd get restless during quiet nights in, started sighing when I'd suggest staying home, would scroll through her phone during conversations. I chalked it up to work stress. Year 3 is when Blake showed up. New guy at her store. Suddenly, it was Blake this, Blake that. Blake had this brilliant idea. Blake closed this massive sale. Blake suggested this great lunch spot. Every single day Blake was part of the conversation. Every time I'd mention how much she talked about him, she'd get defensive, tell me I was being insecure, that he was just a coworker, that I was reading into things that weren't there. So I backed off. That's what you do when you trust someone, right? Yeah, look where that got me. Or so I thought. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I ignored. The way she'd get bored during our quiet evenings at home. How she'd scroll through her phone while I talked about my day. The increasing frequency of girls' nights out. The new interest in her appearance that coincided with a new hire at her store. Some guy named Blake who she mentioned way too often for someone who was supposedly just a coworker. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 3 months before everything imploded, Amber started pushing hard for us to move in together. Her lease was coming up and she wanted to find a place together. Told me it was the natural next step, that we'd been together long enough, that it would be more practical financially. She started sending me listings, apartments with bigger kitchens, places with gyms in the building, condos near my work. She'd sit on my couch scrolling through rental sites, pointing out features she thought I'd like. I wasn't against the idea, but something in my gut was telling me to pump the brakes. I liked my space, liked my routine, and I wanted to be certain before taking that step. So, I told her I needed time to think about it, that I wanted to be thoughtful about the decision rather than rushing. She did not take that well. Suddenly, I was being accused of not being serious about the relationship, of being emotionally unavailable, of not prioritizing her, all because I wanted to think about a major life decision. We had our first real fight. She cried, said she felt like I was stringing her along. I stayed calm, said I wasn't saying no, just not yet, that we could talk about it again in a few months. She didn't speak to me for 3 days, then came back acting like nothing happened, but something had shifted. She was colder, more distant. But I stuck to my guns. Looking back, my gut was screaming that something was off. That's when the girls' nights increased dramatically. What used to be occasional became every single Thursday. Plus random Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. She'd text me in the afternoon. Going out with the girls tonight. Don't wait up. Or Jessica needs me tonight. Girl crisis. Or Rachel's having a rough time. Dinner and venting. Always vague. Always just believable enough that questioning it would make me look controlling. She'd come home late smelling like restaurant food. Immediately shower and get ready for bed. Wouldn't want to talk much. Just it was fine. Same old stuff. You know how it gets. Then an hour on her phone before falling asleep. Screen angled away from me. Nothing obvious, nothing concrete. Just enough to make that voice in the back of my head a little louder. But I pushed it down. Told myself I was being paranoid. The Thursday that changed everything started like any other day. Woke up at 6 o'clock. Gym by 6:30. Work by 8. Normal routine, regular meetings around noon. Amber texted, heading out with Jessica and Rachel tonight after work. Jessica's been dealing with ex drama all week. She needs us. Can you pick me up around 10:30 from Jessica's place? Sure, I typed back. No problem. What time are you off work? 5, she replied. Probably grabbing dinner first, then heading to Jessica's to hang. You're the best. Thank you. That last part should have been a red flag. She only got extra appreciative when she felt guilty. Okay, babe, I sent. See you tonight. Have fun. She replied with a heart emoji that I finished my afternoon quarter-end reports. Client call. Meeting with my boss. Left work at 5:30 sharp. Hit the gym. Leg day full hour. Stopped by the grocery store after. Chicken, vegetables, meal prep supplies. Home by 7:30. I made dinner. Grilled chicken, roasted broccoli, rice. Ate while watching the World War II documentary I'd been working through. At 8:30, I started meal prep, cutting vegetables, seasoning chicken, portioning everything out. By 9:30, the fridge was stocked for the week. Cleaned the kitchen. Took a shower. Checked the time, 10:05. Jessica's place was about 20 minutes away. I grabbed my keys, wallet, and phone, threw on a jacket. The temperature had dropped. Checked my gas through the app, 3/4 full. Plenty, left at 10:15. Windows cracked, cool night air. A financial planning podcast played in the background. 20 minutes later, I pulled into Jessica's parking lot and found a spot near her building. I texted Amber. Got here early. Take your time. No rush. She read it instantly. No reply. I put my phone in the cup holder and turned on some music. Figuring I'd wait a few minutes. That's when Amber's phone connected to my car's Bluetooth. She'd paired it months ago on a road trip when she wanted to play DJ. I never removed it. Why would I? I trusted her. She clearly forgot it was still paired because my music cut out. A second of silence followed. Then I heard voices, clear as day, like they were sitting right there in my car. Amber, Jessica, and Rachel. That I should have disconnected immediately. I should have turned it off. But I didn't. I sat there, frozen, as their conversation poured through my speakers. Jessica was talking about her ex texting again, wanting to meet up, typical post-breakup drama. Rachel chimed in. You should totally go see him, Rachel said. What's the worst that could happen? You're single, Jessica laughed. I don't know. Feels like going backward. Sometimes backward is fun, Amber said. Familiar is comfortable. There was a pause. Then Rachel said something that made my blood go cold. Speaking of fun, when are you going to do something about your situation? My situation? Amber asked, but I could hear the smile in her voice. What situation? Come on, Rachel said. You've been complaining about David for months. How bored you are. How predictable everything is. Jessica literally told me last week you were thinking about. I'm not thinking about anything, Amber cut in. But there was no conviction. Just playful teasing. Jessica jumped in. Amber, I love you, but you need to decide. Either commit to David or move on. This in-between thing isn't fair to anyone. My hands tightened around the steering wheel. My heart was pounding in my throat. In-between thing. I'm not doing anything, Amber said, laughing. Oh, please, Rachel replied. We've all seen the way you look at Blake, and the way he looks at you. Blake's just a friend, Amber said. A friend you text until 2 a.m., Jessica added. A friend you do coffee runs with 3 times a day. Come on, Amber. Silence. Then Amber spoke again. her tone more serious. Okay, fine. Blake is interesting. He's fun. He makes work exciting. But that doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. Yet. Yet, Rachel repeated. Another pause, longer this time. Then Jessica said, almost encouraging, honestly, I'd cheat if I were you. David's boring. He's stable and nice, but boring. You're 29. You should be having fun. Not playing house with an accountant who gets excited about meal prep. They all laughed. Something cracked inside my chest, something that had been holding everything together. Then Amber spoke. 5 words that destroyed 3 years. Who told you I'm not? Silence. Then squealing, high-pitched, excited screams. Wait, what? Rachel shouted. Are you serious? Oh my God, Jessica said. How long has this been going on? I didn't hear Amber's response. Not because the Bluetooth cut out, but because my ears were ringing. My vision tunneled. Everything felt distant, muffled, like I was underwater. Who told you I'm not? She wasn't planning to cheat. She already had. I sat there in my car, in that parking lot. While the 3 of them dissected my girlfriend's infidelity like gossip, like I was a joke, a boring obstacle she'd finally stepped over. They were talking about Blake. About when it started. About a month ago, apparently. Amber said it wasn't serious. Just fun. Just excitement. Something to break the routine of dating someone stable. My phone buzzed. Coming down now. I looked at the apartment building and felt something click. Cold, calm, final. I wasn't going to cry or argue. I was going to handle this the way I always do. I disconnected her phone from my car's Bluetooth. The voices cut off. I waited. A couple minutes later, Amber walked out smiling, texting, probably Blake. She got into the car. Hey, babe. Sorry, lost track of time. I looked at her and felt nothing. Yeah, I said. I know exactly how it is. I pulled out the keys. House, car, her spare. Handed them to her. What's this? She asked. Your ride, former ride. Your phone connected to my Bluetooth. I heard everything. The color drained from her face. I don't want excuses, I said. You cheated. You laughed about it. You call me boring. That's fine. But I'm done, she cried. Begged. Said it meant nothing. If I'm the one you love, I said calmly. You've got a strange way of showing it. I opened the door. Gave her the choice, get out, or wait for an Uber. She took the keys and left. I drove away without looking back. Home. I removed every trace of her. Clothes, photos, food, memories. Blocked her everywhere. Total cutoff. I slept better than I had in months. The next day, dozens of missed calls. I deleted them all. Friends reached out. I kept it simple. She cheated. We're done. Anyone who pushed or defended her got cut off too. Boundaries mattered. A week later, my friend James invited me over to watch the game. No drama. No questions. Just normal life again. When he told me Amber was saying I overreacted, I shrugged. I know what I heard. And that was enough. The people who mattered understood. The ones who didn't weren't worth keeping. Life moved on. Work stayed busy, which helped. I focused on projects, picked up overtime, and started enjoying my routine again, without someone criticizing it. Turns out when you're not managing someone else's boredom and drama, you have a lot more energy for yourself. About 3 weeks later, I ran into Blake at the gym. He admitted things with Amber lasted about a month and ended because of her drama and manipulation. That only confirmed I made the right decision. 2 months after the breakup, I was doing better than expected. I started dating casually, picked up guitar lessons, hiking, and said yes to more social events. I realized I wasn't boring. I'd just been with the wrong person. Amber eventually texted from an unknown number, apologizing and asking for another chance. I read it once and blocked the number. No response. No closure. Silence. A few months later, I met Olivia at a coffee shop while working on a side project. She needed financial help for her business. We talked for hours. She was sharp, motivated, and genuinely interested. We started dating soon after. She appreciated my stability. Her business took off. Work improved for me too. New clients, praise from my boss, and a promotion opportunity. Life felt calm, solid, and rewarding. 8 months after the breakup, I ran into Amber at a grocery store. I didn't acknowledge her. Just kept talking with Olivia and walked past. I felt nothing. Now, Olivia and I are moving in together. Planning trips. Talking about the future. Work is strong. Life is peaceful. Amber, from what I hear, is still chasing excitement. Nothing sticks that I didn't get revenge. I didn't argue. I didn't explain myself that I just moved on. And that turned out to be the best decision of all.